watching the Tesla Life, live with your host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 334. Here we are on the 22nd of November, 2023. Coming up to the big Thanksgiving holiday, which is tomorrow, or what we Canadians like to call it, Thursday. But certainly happy Thanksgiving to our American viewers, and celebration of the turkey is about to begin. So that's fantastic. Joining me, as always, Mr. Casey Green joins us from the Mid-Atlantic states. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. Getting ready to take a short 15-minute drive for Turkey Day.
Yeah.
Meatless. And then maybe a surprise between the Sunday show and now.
Okay. All right. You're gonna keep it on the down low just in case it doesn't happen. Okay.
Exactly, because it is test related, and you know how they like to just move stuff and do stuff. And
that's true.
I might get there and stuff just not be
so
where I expect it to be.
We'll have to wait until Sunday on Casey's show to see if the plans actually worked out. But
exactly.
Fantastic. Wanted to open the show tonight with our friend Patrick, who's not here. He's not going to be here tonight, I believe. But Patrick had sent me an email just earlier in the day, and he wanted to let me know that he got a Tesla advertisement. So he did a search, actually on a Nero, did a search on the Chinese EV manufacturer, and in the responses he got on Google, he received a Model Y advertisement for his trouble. So that was kind of interesting to see that they have it queued up on other EVs, and showed Patrick the current price of in the US for the Model Y, so that he was able to make an informed choice when looking at a Nero. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So very good. Let's see what else we got here tonight.
Smorgasbord.
Quite a bit of stories to hit tonight. And I thought I'd pass this one over to Casey, Mr. Supercharger, about some congestion fees.
Yes. So, for those of you like myself who have occasionally found yourselves having a little too much Tesla time at the Supercharger, and you realize that the timer since where your car reached full had elapsed by more than 6 minutes, and found yourself with a little... you guys seen the movie with the kid with the "Give me my $2"? It looks like Elon. Yeah, I had it a couple times. So once they graciously waived the 50-cent charge for me. I'm like, I couldn't save that for later. And then a couple months ago, they hit me up for $6. Give me my $6. And then they were like that for a good couple days. And then all of a sudden, I get a little text from my credit card company, Elon got you, and and they have my $6. Well, that's all going to change, because what was happening there was if you were at a station that was full, or at least over full, not overflowing, but more than, let's call it 80% full, they would charge you. Most cases, it was $1 a minute that you stayed past full, and they'd give you a 5-minute grace. So at the 6-minute mark, you get that charge, the $6. So I don't know how the 50 cents came about, but that's what they waived for me. And now the policy has changed that at those same stations, once they make the conversion, they'll change them to what they call overage charges or surcharges for basically what's going to happen is if that same station is full, once you are charging past 90% state of charge, they have not listed any exceptions. So who knows what happens if the car itself tells you to stay to 96%. I guess it's going to be an extra $6. We don't know yet, but they'll charge you right now $1 a minute for each minute that you're over 90% while still plugged in and charging. So it's about to get real expensive.
Well, how often does your car tell you to charge longer than 90%?
90% at a full station, so it's not as bad if you're not towing or if you have a car that was advertised to have more than 300 miles of range.
There we go. Yep.
However, my car has never been advertised as 300 miles of range, and then when you add a trailer to it, it gets super fun. And then I'm sitting here whining and complaining. I've got the largest battery they've ever sold to date, and imagine if you were with one of the standard range packs or the any of the other like software limited ones, like the 70D, the 65. I think they had 65. They had 60s, and they had 70, and even they had a 75 locked, and they had 75 real. But look at the LFP Model 3 and a couple others. Like the LFP Model 3, you have to charge it to 100 every now and then just to reset the BMS. This is going to cause some growing pains. That's my prediction. That or Elon's going to say, I don't hear your whining. Keep on charging.
Well, I think that it will come to, there's going to be some people that are going to be upset with it. But I would have to say that with the release of the Cybertruck, there's going to be more people upset with it because there's going to be a lot more people towing. So I think with the Cybertruck coming along that this rule may be revisited as time goes on, maybe push that ultimate limit up from 90 to 95%, because, of course, that last 5%, it's going to take a long time anyways. Like
if they had it built correctly that you could do pull-through stations like most of the places, then you could say, oh, well, if the trailer lights are on, then give them an extra 5% cushion. But most places that you have to unhook if you can. I say if you can because, again, my favorite thing to tow is a U-Haul van trailer, and you can't get that off once it's loaded.
That's right.
So they know I'm towing. But with the Cybertruck, if it has the rumored range they're talking about on the dual motor, then yeah, that would be a problem. If it can still do 500 with the tri-motor, they might not notice or care. And again, this is only really going to affect you if you're at a full station and you need to get above 90. So it is less of the time that this can happen, but this will happen on a day like tomorrow, New Year's Eve, Christmas, the travel days, Memorial Day, and people are like, oh, just stay out of the cities. Well, that's not always the case. Like you can find a congested supercharger at 11 o'clock at night in the middle of the country, often because it was the only one there. Like they're still not done building out the network, and so there are places where it's sparse. Or like if I were to go visit my sisters, they are in a charging desert. They just got their first supercharger. They don't have Electrify America. They don't have level 2. You can plug into somebody's house.
Yeah.
And if you don't have 300 miles, you can't get back out of it. So
yeah, you don't want to drive into a charging desert because you got to leave at some point.
Right. And
the
the car will tell me, oh, you'll get there with 4%. You're fine. I'm like, yeah, but how do I leave?
Yeah. If you get there with 4% and you got a couple days, then you can just trickle charge it. You know? But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can see the play on both sides, especially coming up to the busiest holiday of travel that there's going to be starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
I can see that they want to limit the pictures out there of Teslas in a queue waiting to supercharge. That's what they're trying to avoid. They don't want to be paired up with some of the other lesser known third-party charger sites that are broken, that are willfully overpopulated with other vehicles. They're trying not to be the same.
350 to 100%.
Yeah.
But the other problem with it though is like you said, they just kind of popped it on you. It's going to need some massaging. I think overall it's going to work, and I do like the idea. It's just the fleet and the distribution isn't there to just make that a blanket statement. It needs exceptions, and whoa, they should have gave us some warning.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Well, here's the warning.
Right. Tomorrow
you got 5 minutes before it implements. Yeah.
That was my other point right there. Is what about us legacy owners? Has it been implemented in such a way that somebody with a 2012 Model S with MCU1 can still receive this, or are they going to get surprise charge? Like, oh yeah, I just had a nice 95% charge. I'm on my way. Oh, what the hell, Elon? because those older cars don't charge as fast anymore. They're getting up there in age.
Yeah, I have a feeling it has not.
That's
That's
my
not been
feeling as
taken
well.
into account. I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Oh my goodness.
We've been hanging
Well,
around.
we will
this
see.
long.
We'll see what kind of stories start to come out as of tomorrow. As the travel day in the U.S. That ends all travel days, right? That's the biggest travel day in the entire year is Thanksgiving weekend, correct?
It's a kind of a tie with Christmas, and then you've got New Year Eve, but that one's not really as much of a travel day as much as there's people just out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, Casey. My normal Thursday, I'll just be staying at home. But if you're gonna
Thursday,
be
I'm
out-
taking a little 15-minute drive, so I can do home charging for all day. Yeah. The what I want to do this weekend, I'm gonna do it for you guys, and if I have to pay, wow, I'm gonna write it as a business expense.
Yeah, we're gonna get a bill. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna write a business expense. Yes, you're a YouTuber. Yeah. I was in pursuit of a video.
Very good. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open and see what's going to be updated on Sunday. But
Sunday.
Sunday. He's going to a monster truck show, obviously, based on that.
I might.
But next story. Speaking of monsters, this is a story about a new possible gigafactory. India, again, has been in the news multiple times this week. Many different sources, except Tesla, pushing on how there's a large rebate of cash available to Tesla, that there's this push to get Tesla to sign on the dotted line. This past story, which of course we linked to in the notes, would be they're basically saying there's $2 billion worth of credits or government refunds or however they slice it up, that it's going to benefit Tesla in so many different ways monetarily if they were to build a gigafactory in India. And of course, with India, it's been on again, off again for some time. But most recently, India certainly has been pushing hard on their media outlets anyways, about them trying to get Tesla to sign up for the factory to be built. When Tesla announced Mexico, of course, they had indicated that there was going to be another announcement coming soon. That hasn't happened. So we're not sure if India is what is in the final throes here, or if they're, as with Mexico, how they've kind of cooled down on it and actually slowed down based on the economy. Maybe they're not going to name another one anytime soon. So it's really up in the air. These stories, I believe, are being produced by India or Indian outlets that are coming into the mainstream media. So really, of course, India is trying to throw the best light they can on the possible news of a gigafactory, and they just keep pushing on it. So really, I don't know how substantiated these reports are besides a lot of noise.
We'll see when it actually happens. This is, I put this India situation in the same light I do about Toyota coming back, Toyota making solid state batteries, Toyota making hydrogen work, any XYZ automaker eating Tesla's lunch or Tesla fighter or any of the other headlines that we see. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen.
Well, you're right. It could happen, but it's at this point, it's just hearsay. And like I said, there's no real sources that we would rely upon at this point stating this information. So it seems to be just kind of pushing that narrative that India wants to hear. So we'll see. We'll see as it comes around.
I mean, I'd like to say another gigafactory, but we'll see.
Yeah. Next story I want to talk about, Casey's got this one about another supercharger in the faraway Chinese market.
Right. So we've got another contender for the Supercharger Coalition. They've signed up. They're ready to go. And again, they're another familiar name. Polestar has joined the Supercharger Coalition in China. So again, no NACs there, but still in the superchargers. And again, with another company that has just been through all this in North America. And now they're doing it in China. So there's a chance Tesla could be the global charging provider or something. I think that's exciting.
That's what's kind of interesting, I thought, was that Polestar got on this a little quicker than what they did with the Max.
Yes.
So,
and again, they did it without their compatriots. They did it without Volvo and Geely.
Yep. They jumped out first. Well, I guess that would be second. GM jumped into it first. Polestar is now the second. So it'll be interesting. Is there going to be another flood
Yes.
of groups that actually produce vehicles for the Chinese market to get on the Tesla superchargers in China? Well, here's two, and we'll have to see when number 3 flows in. But I would think that it just makes sense, especially for the ones that have already signed up for North American access. It just makes complete sense. So
Yeah.
we
We're
will
wearing their CyberTrucks.
we will see who is number 3, or if it'll be 3, 4, 5 in quick succession.
Right?
That's what I would think. They should get on this immediately because, of course, they although there's no adapter in this case, and maybe there wouldn't be as much of a wait, but I would have to say that it probably makes sense to get in line early and often, based on what they're trying to supply to their customers.
I wonder if it's going to be somebody big like BYD or any of the other people that is allegedly beating Tesla at their own game in China.
Yeah,
numbers closer. It's not really the same story.
and BYD or NIO or others in China, none of them have their own charging network, correct?
NIO's got the battery swap stations. I don't know if they have a charging network.
Yeah, haven't heard about an actual network, but if anyone was going to, BYD probably would have been the one because they're so large.
Yeah,
but I have not heard of anyone that's setting up their own network. They're just relying on the government, I guess, to set up charging points that are for everybody, except, of course, Tesla, who's installing their own network as they've done here in North America and Europe.
I wonder who's doing long road trips in these, or if this is going to be just people in multifamily dwellings, because I can't imagine somebody taking a long road trip in the Hulang Wong Mini.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just it doesn't seem comfortable.
It's anything's possible. It's just not practical.
Right, that part. So I can see the people with like the BYD seal and like the the stuff we see in Europe, but not necessarily like the vast majority of these numbers that are, we're outselling Tesla 8-1, and you look, it's all bicycles with covers.
Next, let's move on to the cyber leaks. Of course, the title of today's episode. And these are these leaks, or are these strategically released pieces of information? I would think the latter.
They didn't spell their sandwich board right the first day, so who knows?
First story I wanted to touch upon was Tesla product design director Javier Verdura, who happened to be hunted down by the media while he was presenting something, and released a little tidbit of information that the upcoming delivery event, he had indicated that he believes that 10 Cybertrucks were going to be put up for delivery.
Wow.
Now, that is interesting that someone other than Elon actually made a statement about an upcoming event. Now, Javier may be relieved of his position tomorrow, for all I know, because Elon does not like people to make statements about anything, it seems. Elon is of the mindset that you let me make the statements, you just do your other jobs, and we'll work fine together. So I'm wondering if he's going to get a little slap on the hand for this little quote that came out in the media earlier in the week. But we haven't got much further to wait. We're just over a week away. What, about 8 days from today, before the launch event on November 30th. So we will be covering it live, by the way. So feel free to join us. The links will be in for that Thursday broadcast. 1 day difference from our Wednesday. So we're just going to move it 1 day and cover the live event. And we'll be on air about an hour before Cybertruck.
We're just doing a 24-hour translation, right? And then,
that's right.
And then rolling right into the show.
Yep.
So we'll go ahead and get like a Cybertruck graphic, and we'll go ahead and get that link set up for you guys earlier than typical, maybe even this weekend.
Yep.
Depending on Mark and I, we got other stuff on our plate.
So yeah, very interesting to see that the announcement of 10, somewhat disappointing for some people. Had a number of people comment on our Twitter feed. Of course, you can also follow that at the Tesla Life. You can see that we update that through the week, and a number of people commented on that Twitter information that a release 10 was not what they were hoping for. They wanted to see 20, 30, 100.
50. A stampede of Cybertrucks.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that would have been good if they could have structured it in a certain way. If everyone had to shake Elon's hand, having 50 vehicles flow out would be just painful to watch. So if they could have gotten maybe, the first 10 get to shake Elon's hand, and then the next 40 or 90 are just given the keys and they start driving off out of the lot, I think that would have been a better way to go. But maybe there was some things about the optics, about only allowing a certain amount of people to talk to Elon or shake his hand or get a picture with him. So the other way they could have done it is had that after the broadcast, or had, maybe they all got in their vehicles and they drove away and they did a lap around the building and they came back and then everyone got to shake Elon's hand. Maybe they could have done it that way after it was off air.
Something like a cross between the Giga Austin structural pack delivery event and the Model 3 delivery event, where like they were kind of all out in a parking lot, and like all 35, 50 people, they all got in their cars at one time, no big deal. Not like the Model S and the Model X, where everybody says, "Oh, thank you, Elon. Oh, yeah, great job. Oh, yeah, here's the check." But it's like, they had the stampede of Model Ys. Some of them had the horn on. That was kind of cool. And then they could have redone that but bigger with Cybertrucks, and then like done like the Model 3, where they're all out in the parking lot. Everybody gets in their car, and then it's done. It would have been more exciting, but still kind of a rumor. And now that it's leaked, Elon might change his mind. We'll see. And it'll be interesting either way. But we'll become next to see how quickly they ramp it, even if it's just employees, to see when we can start just randomly see them out in the wild.
That's right. Yeah. And comment to Kelly Snyder. Yes, some people will be waiting 2 to 3 years for that car at about 250,000 trucks per year. When they're ramped up, it's going to take some time. But I will also say that there are many people that have a $100 reservation that are going to leave the reservation and not buy anything. There's going to be a number of people that will get out of line. The over 1 million plus that we believe have put down that $100 deposit. When it comes right down to it, and it's time to start moving money out of your bank account and into Elon's bank account, a lot of people will be giving up their spot. So make sure you're in line. Make sure you keep your reservation if you want it, because I have a feeling that that there will be spots that will open up. And of course, Tesla, what they're doing, I believe, will be that they're going to group the sales based on destination as well. So they'll be looking at, okay, who's got the orders in Toronto? We're going to send out a whole batch going to Toronto, and you could be thrown up in that batch. So keep that reservation. It could happen.
Although Toronto, I think, would be after a number of U.S. locations.
Come on. Are you sure?
It's true. It's going to be interesting because you've also got, in the 4 years while we've been waiting for this thing, the economy has shifted. People's available funds have changed, and It's a new world.
And we also suspect the price is going to be higher.
That too, and then who knows if that Cybertruck resale clause comes back in some form. And then don't forget that there's a bunch of folks out there with 40 Cybertruck reservations. I mean, I don't imagine that they're the majority of the 2 million, but some of them, the ones that weren't expecting to flip it, some of them aren't going to buy all their trucks. You have some folks like Ryan over at the Kilowatts. They'll probably buy at least 5 because part of their thing is a rental fleet. You've got some construction fleets and some government fleets that they're going to get all of theirs, but somebody who has like a pool painting business, they might only get 3 out of the 7 that they reserved.
Yep. Keep your tickets, people. We don't know when it's going to happen, but there's going to be a lot of happy people starting November 30th for sure. So I'm just interested to see how quickly Tesla will be able to ramp up with all this new the new process that they have to go through to produce a Cybertruck. It'll be interesting to see how quickly they start to ramp and get up to volume. So hopefully volume comes quickly.
I'm curious if it's going to be more like the structural Model Y and the semi-truck, or if it's going to be more like the SX and 3, where we know pretty much all we were looking to know, and then we get surprises when people pick them up. Or if it's like the Model Y structural, and we're like, how much does it cost? What's the battery? What's it feel like?
Yep.
We didn't know who had one.
That's right. Speaking of Toronto, which we were just a little while ago, Cybertruck was spotted in Montreal, the province next to Ontario. Quebec, spotted along the Trans-Canada between Quebec City and Montreal. So a few different stops along the way. So again, this is the first time the Cybertruck has been outside of the U.S. So it's good to see that it's moving into the second country of choice, which is always great to see for us Canadians that they're thinking about Canada, at least because they're driving there. So looking forward.
Norway.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to the Cybertruck coming. At least they know how to get here. Probably came up from the New Hampshire, Vermont area, from the New York City area. So there's always that run into Montreal, Quebec City that we've seen with early prototypes. So it's good to see that Cybertruck is no exception to that rule. Next, we got Moto. She's got her hands up. She's going, hi. Now she's clapping. She's performing, Casey. You've got a natural talent on your hands.
Indeed.
Next, we want to talk about the sandwich board. So Tesla has introduced some Cybertrucks at multiple locations. Tell us a little bit about that and the sandwich board, Casey.
Yeah, so the first views we saw of the sandwich board, the word exoskeleton was spelled wrong. They said exoskeleton and instead of exoskeleton. And then other folks are arguing that this isn't even an exoskeleton. And I still say, let's let Monroe & Co. rip it down, or let them show us why this thing is actually an exoskeleton before we say that it's not. Because armchair engineering versus the people who put it together. They don't want to get that false advertising.
That's right.
Mark against them.
That's right.
So on this sandwich board, we have just 5 or 6 data points. They put about how it's ultra hard, stainless steel exoskeleton, shatter resistant glass. They didn't say anything about bulletproof. Not that they ever did the first day either, but they also didn't say armor this time either. It's not armor glass. It's shatter resistant glass. Then they say ultra tough SMC bed up to 2,500 pound payload. And what SMC is basically it's a single molded composite. And basically it's going to be a little hard to scratch, and it's going to look great. And then they put about the adaptive air suspension with on-road, off-road drive modes. And then they put 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, which everybody is hoping is the dual motor, because that would be actually a under-promise, over-deliver on the dual motor. If it's the tri-motor, then that's going to be another case of disappointment for everybody. Yeah.
What would you think that they would put on a stats board? Would it be the lowest common denominator stats, or would it be the higher model stats?
That's what's the scary part.
Yeah.
So if these are just the dual motors and that's all they're selling, and then you gotta wait for the tri-motor, like they initially planned, that's cool. Because they weren't initially going to start with the tri-motors. They were going to start with the dual, then go down to the single, which got canceled altogether, and then go back to the tris.
Interesting that they didn't indicate anything on the sandwich board as to what that would be. So they're just saying some stats, and of course they're showing an exterior image of the vehicle, which you can't tell anything from. Could be the tri-motor, could be the dual motor. We have no idea.
And they didn't say up to 11,000. So that's another reason why I'm hoping that it's not the tri-motor. They said 11, and it's in front of this truck. So maybe this truck is a dual motor. I haven't seen anybody decode the VIN on the ones that we've spotted near these sandwich boards.
Right. Well, that's
a lead-in.
That's a good point too, because of course, with these trucks now starting to show up at different showrooms across the United States, even outside of California, yes. We've got people asking what the VIN numbers are on the vehicles. That was reported at the one, I believe, in New York City. Let me just go over it. I guess there's a New York City that's confirmed. There's a Tampa, Florida that's been confirmed. And there are 3 locations in California that have been confirmed. So that would be San Jose, San Diego, and another one in the LA area.
Breaking news. One showed up at Matthews last night in the parking lot, and then this morning it showed up in the showroom.
And where is this?
Matthews, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
Of all places.
North Carolina.
Another truck country, but
what's the major city? Raleigh?
Charlotte. Yeah.
Charlotte. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear of anything at Raleigh, which is interesting because they're the bigger store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually a store instead of a gallery.
So that will be interesting to see as these other showrooms start to open up with Cybertruck on display. Certainly, I'm hoping to get one up here in Toronto. That would be great to go see.
And when we say display, we mean it literally. If you remember when we showed you pictures of Optimus in various showrooms, and there was in a glass case, or he had the bollards with the rope around it. The Cybertruck is the same way, so don't go thinking you're going to go touch it. But if you want to go look at it, hey.
Exactly. I think we've got a quick little video. Yeah, here's one off of our Twitter feed that we can share.
Is it musical?
Might be. Keep your finger on the trigger.
I already muted it and bring it up. So shiny.
The lines on this.
They're pretty tight.
Yep.
I don't know about 10 microns, but it doesn't look like that one that Franz was driving around with the black wrap.
No, nowhere near it. Yeah.
It was a mess.
That is a quality video taken early in the day, obviously here in New York City.
Yeah.
I even understand that they're not allowing videoing now of the vehicle. You can take some pictures, you just can't video it.
Okay.
But this person got the video out quickly.
Gotcha. Only cell phone photos. Don't bring your little SLRs.
So some fantastic shots. Man, does that thing ever gleam?
Yes. I'm really hoping they got the angles right for sunrise and sunset commutes, because
yep, you may need sunglasses if you're anywhere near beside this truck.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't going to bother with wrapping it. Ooh.
Exactly. So that's interesting. That we've got these other showrooms that are now opening up, showing it. That North Carolina, that must have just happened today. Like that was
last night to this morning. Yep.
Okay. So we've been betting on who could be next. What are the sales centers that are going to get it? I got to believe that somewhere else up by maybe Patrick on the Oregon coast or Washington would get one. And And it's good to see that we've got middle of the country. We've got Florida, Texas. Why hasn't Dallas or some place?
Can't sell electric cars in Texas from the factory in Texas. You know, that's
Okay,
illegal.
okay. Oklahoma then, just across the
Right.
border.
Right. Oklahoma, Mexico, Alabama. Where's it, Mississippi? Wherever's right there next to Texas.
Exactly. But yeah, that's fantastic news. That we've got a few of them now that are out there, and of course, this is new territory for Tesla, right? They've never done this before, where the vehicle is being shown before the unveiling or the delivery event. So this is something new for them.
The closest they came to that is two variants. You got where the car was making the rounds before it showed up for sale, and then all the automakers do this. I used to do it all the time for Honda, Toyota, and Chevy. Acura too. And then there's the other one where it's just in the back so the mechanics can practice on it. And this is new, where they've already done all that other stuff, and then boom, they haven't even done the event, and boom, it's in the showroom.
Remember last week we had that rumor that they were going to do it, so it's good to see that that source on that was correct. I think, as I said last week as well, I think this is the right way for Tesla to move. It makes sense to have the vehicle available in far and wide reaching, because there are so many people that are so used to the regular car purchasing model that they will not stray from it. So having a vehicle that you can actually see the perspective of and understand the size and how big it is, and they're not allowing people to touch these yet, but eventually doors open, being able to sit in the seat, being able to move the tailgate up and down, all those things will allow someone to make a more informed purchase decision, and hopefully a quicker decision as well.
Especially when you've got something like this where it's not a conventional look at all, so you don't necessarily know roughly what to expect. And then you've got all these random social posts that are either trying to trump it up or tear it down. So like you have like the cases where the bicycle is loaded in a weird way in the bed, and so people are like, oh, you can't even fit your bike in it. Or then if you can go touch it and see it with your own eyes, you're like, my bike will fit in that, and I'll fit it in this way.
Yeah.
Or hey, I do want to hang it over the tailgate because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to do it. Just it's just a little odd that they did it before they did the. Here it is.
If you're watching now, please give us a thumbs up on the video. It really helps a small channel like us, and we'd appreciate that. And of course, Casey's got fireworks to celebrate that as well. So we're going all out on the visual effects today. So that's fantastic. Next, I got another quick video I wanted to share with the group.
Yeah, sure.
And this is a going to the beach shot. So just share this. Share.
Somebody called it Cybertruck in the Gulf. Just not
Killian, I wish you were here.
We'll just skip to the front again.
When they described that, I was expecting both of them.
Look at that windshield, Killian. That's a wiper blade right there.
That is a mega wiper.
Yes.
And you can tell from this that most likely this is in Texas. Most likely, probably Boca Chica area, I would think.
Probably so.
Yep, he's heading towards Cuba. No, he's not. He's turning back.
They remember the part where Elon said for a short while. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I don't recommend doing this. You got stainless steel. And
Look at the water pouring out of it.
Exactly.
So that's a very cool shot of them taking it down the beach and into the surf.
Yeah. Although in this case, when Elon says you can use wheel thrust for a short while it floats and tries to sink, that's a reference to he said this for every car till now.
Yeah.
The rear wheel steering will actually aid with that. Again, do not drive your Cybertruck into open bodies of water unless they get that thing certified as a boat.
He's taking a bit of a risk too because
He gets stuck in the sand.
yeah, it would be a nightmare of PR if it was to get stuck.
Oh yes.
Like it would just be horrible.
Look at all the Model X's that got stuck on the just the regular beach, let alone in the water.
And that wouldn't be a surprise. Like sand is loose, right? Loose, and it's thick with moisture. That could definitely happen. It's not surprising that it could happen. Just depends on the packing of the beach at that particular moment in time as to whether or not this looked real solid in this particular case. So good for them. But again, it was a great shot for us on the outside to see how this vehicle is its operating stance on sand at the beach. So once, of course, it's been delivered, there'll be lots of people getting them stuck and landlocked and all sorts of things going on. But you don't want that happening just before release day. So
no, I saw a Model X
got away with it.
Morning, and that Model X was doing a boat launch, and they didn't do it right, and it was in the lake, and it was on fire, and it was 12 feet underwater.
Oh,
it was on fire.
That
remember,
is
lithium
not
fires
good.
bring their own oxygen. They call the fire department, and the fireman's like, "What more do you want us to do about it?"
Yeah.
we can put water on it, but it's already done.
It's already a submarine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good. Not good at all.
No.
Next with the Cybertruck news, let's get into the interior photo leaks that we saw.
Yes.
And Casey, I don't know if you have, I'll bring up one picture to share with the group. Here we go. Whoops, it jumped on me. Okay, here we go. There it is. That's the image I wanted.
Beautiful. It's like my Model S with the yacht floor, but useful. And I say useful because I don't carry a handbag, so that was all the yacht floor was good for me.
So it's got this ribbing in the center with these slats. Is that like an open storage area with rails on the side?
So on the S, it had the same sort of, it was rubberized with ribs, and then it had large bolsters on the side, and like I said, you could put a large pocketbook in there. Or in this case, it looks to be a little more useful because you got the cup holders and the phone chargers that extend over it instead of just the cup holders and the armrest that didn't open. Now you've got armrest that opens, and it just seems that they've learned a thing or two since 2012 about how to do an open front floor.
Interesting. Also, in this photo, we can see the wiper blade.
Yep, big old wiper blade.
Look at how low that is. Like, I realize the driver's going to be sitting back, so maybe the perspective is that they will see the wiped area because when the driver's back here in the seat, he's really looking out maybe underneath the wiper blade, and that will not be an issue. But just looking at it here, there seems to be a lot of space up here that the wiper's not covering.
Yeah, here we're looking at the passenger perspective, and it's huge. But even on the passenger side, for the ones that we've seen, I don't know if it's got like a cam over situation that it's got like on the Prius big blade, where it kind of like has a little hump in the arc and allows it to get more over to the passenger side. That would be kind of cool. I think that a couple of the Teslas have had similar, like a low cam follower situation.
Right.
One thing you'll notice is the steering wheel no longer says Tesla on it. It no longer says anything. It's got a horn icon at the very bottom and a Cybertruck logo on the not the like graffiti mark, but the Cybertruck silhouette model logo on the center there, or the center of the airbag where the horn is.
And the wheel, of course, is
a woke.
Yeah, it is a
wheel yoke.
Yeah.
Elon must hate it when I call it that. Your truck has the Pokemon virus.
Exactly.
You'll also notice in this photo, this is the first Cybertruck we're seeing without any mirror of any sort. No screen, no mirror, no nothing on the up underneath the interior camera and the exterior cameras. See that?
Why would there not be a rear view mirror.
Well, on the Model 3 photo shoot, they just turned it so that when you looked at it from the drone shot, it wasn't in the way.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's gone. So I don't know if that's for this photo shoot or if they've decided they're not going to include one anymore, because there's a chance that the vault could be closed.
That's true. Yeah. And we see that in some of the other commercial trucks out there, that some of them don't even have a rear view mirror because, of course, there's no use for it.
Right. They've got a box, not a sometimes open, sometimes closed situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they've. The Polestar recently lost their windshield or their rear window, and they most likely are putting a projection up on the rear view mirror where it usually sits, kind of like GM did with the Bolt. So,
but are they going to do it there, or are they going to do it on the screen, like we saw in the spy shot on the?
Right. And I would say that Tesla will do it on the screen because this is a 17-inch screen. They got lots of real estate to play with, and as with the side indicators, they could put a rear view one on this, no problem.
Yeah. I'm just curious if they get enough resolution to determine, what's running up on you. They did apparently adjust the position of the rear view. It's on the tailgate, in the middle of the light bar strip. I don't know if that's going to be enough to keep it from getting rain and smuts on it. And the other question then is, what if you're rolling with the tailgate down? Do you have no rear view other than the exterior mirrors? Hopefully they're there.
Another thing of interest in these shots is the side view mirrors.
Yeah.
Some of them we've seen in black, and others we've seen with a stainless steel coating shell on the outside.
Huh.
So not really sure how it's going to end up there as well. We've seen it both ways.
Hopefully black, that's cheapest, because the only way to get the stainless is to bend it. The less bending and cutting you do, the cheaper it is.
The cheaper it is. True.
But the other thing I noticed is this one's got the white interior, at least the trim. And typically we've seen it with a black trim there.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the shots from the Quad Squad, very few of them have the white interior, but most of them have the black.
Interesting that they went with that. We saw some area views from drones giving us some indication that there was some white trim going on, but this one definitely shows it off.
I would go with the white trim myself, just because I've had both, and the black for me just feels like a cave. Like if it's all black on black on black.
Yeah.
And then with the white seats and then the white accents with the carbon fiber on mine, it's like, airy.
Would you go with white seats if you could? Would that make sense for you in a truck?
You can go either way on the seats, really.
Yeah.
It's a little less hot when you go to sit on it, but that's what preconditioning is for, and the heated and cooled seats. So
you could do either way.
I can go either way. But if you give me a choice, I'd pick white.
All right. And another shot, not showing in this particular shot because you can't see it, but the acceleration pedal apparently is mounted.
Lightning pedal.
The lightning pedal is mounted to the floor.
Yeah. Like a forward flow.
So it's no longer floating from above and coming down as most, like all of our Model 3s and S's and X's are. This time in the truck, they've actually made the pivot point at the base of the lightning pedal, and it's attached right there to the floor.
I think the last time I had that was a Civic. It had the pivot was on the back and kind of pushed it down. And it would obviously be a Civic hybrid. And I think every other car I've been in has been kind of just hanging down from the from the instrument cluster or instrument panel.
Exactly.
Every car that I've owned had it as a daily driver. Yeah.
And then there were a few photos of the actual UI showing, where they've got a different look than, of course, the traditional Teslas out there. So, and it's a dramatic departure too. So it's a completely unique UI to the Cybertruck compared to others. The look, the feel, the colors, the the squaring off of the lettering, all of that is unique to the Cybertruck. I think that's going to, is that going to be extra time and effort because you've got a different UI in one vehicle as opposed to the others? Not, of course, not outside of the Semi, which probably has some unique features itself, but that's kind of a bold move to set the Cybertruck apart as well.
Really, I can't screen share when my screen is this small. I tried. Wait. Yeah, no, I can't. That's helpful, guys. I'll have to submit a bug report.
So yeah, it's going to be different. Going to be interesting to see how this is accepted by the public. It's going to be interesting to see how that actually happens, and if people are going to be overwhelmed with the differences, or if it's just par for the course. It's a brand new vehicle. It's a new way of making a vehicle. It's certainly a bold statement on the outside. Why not make it a bold statement on the inside with a different UI too? So
right,
there's certainly pros and cons to all of it.
Yeah, and then Basim makes a good point about dark seats on a truck. However, I've had enough experience with the Tesla white seats that if you wipe them down once a month, they don't really do that poorly unless they were pre-vegan leather. So
we've also had reports on the seats that there's cloth in them. They're not all vegan leather.
Oh, interesting.
So that's another departure, another change.
I don't know. I'd want a white cloth seat though. You're right. I'd go for black cloth.
Yeah. So there seems to be some sort of cloth. One of the showrooms where it's being displayed, they had someone verify by looking in the window that the seats are perforated.
It would be a big misstep to not make the seats perforated after Highland finally got perforated seats with ventilation.
Yeah. So
there's been doubles, triple of what a Model 3 costs, and then you don't get a basic-ish feature.
Yeah.
Not to say it's that basic, but like if it's available on the base Model 3, and you can't get it on an optioned up Cybertruck, not a good look.
Yeah.
They can see Tesla doing that though.
again, we haven't got long to see everything. Again, about 8 days away. I hope that beyond the 10 that are rumored to be delivered on the day of,
I hope it's 10 on stage, and then like however many they built.
Exactly.
Of the audience.
Because I think that the one in New York City, the VIN number was something like 1,200. Like it was a high number. So, and some of them would be pre-production that will never be sold, I'm sure. But I am hoping there are a few hundred, if not 1,000, that they have ready to start rolling out. And I'm hoping that they have started to ship those, or at least ship them to holding areas that are closer to the customers. So that would be a plus if they were to maybe start rolling them out the day after that the 30th delivery date happens. That would be fantastic to see.
Have we seen like 5 on a truck? I know we haven't seen. I know we've seen a lot of 4s. I know that we probably also won't see any of the 6s, which is what Tesla usually does, even with all Model 3s. And the reason for that is weight on their trucks that the trailers are rated for.
Yeah, I have not. I've only seen 4, so it'll be interesting to see if it gets a 5 for one of them.
Just throw a Model 3 in on every Cybertruck truck just to complete it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not like they're not shipping other cars to these locations as well. So, but you got to believe that if they've got a grouping of, say a couple hundred Cybertrucks, that there would be some dedicated transport trucks being shipped out, and maybe 4, and they would throw 2 Model 3s on there as well. It's going to be interesting. We should start seeing photos of that, people following the trucks around. Like that's going to happen pretty darn soon if they do have an amount of vehicles that are rolling out. And the other neat thing is that these will be coming out of Texas, and Texas is centrally located, should be a quicker trip to both coasts as opposed to everything coming from California to all other points in North America. So
Yeah.
For some of us on the East Coast and the northern parts of the country, it should be a little bit of a quicker trip as opposed to coming from California.
I like it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, the other thing that will start to happen is we should be getting alerts from people that are being notified from Tesla that they can fulfill their order. That will be the first step, the first I guess indication that there are more than what is going to be delivered that are starting to roll out.
What's up, Derek? 20-minute drive, 20-hour drive either coast, yeah, versus 3 days from California to the East Coast.
Absolutely. Next, another couple little bits of news that were picked up near the just before showtime. We got the notification that the HEPA filter for the Model Y in North America is now available as a retrofit. So in
the replacement filter for the Model X.
So in the U.S. and Canada, this is now a retrofit that can go in. I think it's about $313 US for the retrofit.
Yeah.
In the U.S. And add your exchange on for the Canadian retrofit. So
yeah,
it's not outrageous, and it's good to see that Tesla's finally introduced this because I believe the Model Y was without it until 2022. So there's a fair number of Model Ys out there that did not get the option that some people wanted. And then when they started to show up in China, people were like freaking out. Where's my HEPA filter? I want it. Well, now there's a retrofit. You can get it if you need it.
Yeah, and part of the reason it's so expensive on the X is you got to get underneath that front tub, and the filter is 4 feet wide, and it's they don't just replace the filter medium; they replace the whole housing every time, and that's a significant amount of plastic and metal. I showed you that Omu battery a couple weeks ago, and they make you rip out the filter medium, and then you can replace it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, good news. And other bit of news, I don't know if this is really news. Model 3 Highland is rumored that the performance model will be made available early in 2024.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should put that in my notes, and I didn't.
So, not a big deal because we knew the performance model would be coming. Obviously, Tesla doesn't release everything at once when they change the cars. Yeah. But with the Model 3 having a performance previously, the Highland was going to get a performance. We can almost guarantee it. And we also believe that Highland will be coming to North America sometime early in 2024. So again, not a big surprise there. My guess is it's showing up by the end of the first quarter. And they may introduce the performance model immediately in North America, right out of the gate.
That might be what they're waiting for.
Could be. So it's not a big surprise, but thought I would mention that for those waiting for the Highland, if you're waiting for the performance, we believe it is coming. It is coming soon. So we will see. And Casey, to the audience that is wondering why you just keep staring differently at the monitor, what's going on at your end?
Well, I've changed to a teleprompter, but the screen resolution on the teleprompter is smaller, so the interface has moved everything around for the live streaming. And so I was looking for the button for Lee Moon's soundtrack, and I can't find it. I also was looking for the screen share button earlier, and I also could not find that.
Change is always happening on Casey's computer system, so that's why he's straining a little bit and moving his head around a little bit. So, well, with that, let's roll up and say goodnight for this week. Casey, what do you got for shoutouts for the group out there?
Like I was saying, I've got something planned for between now and Sunday, and you guys can probably guess what it is. I just didn't want to make any promises just in case they move that Silver Beast out of the showroom in Charlotte.
Put your guesses in the comments, people. Put your guess down. What's Casey going to be doing?
Right, and then like I said, the fence was removed in Columbia, so we might take a little trip over that way. I was gonna ask if Mark could shoot me that address, by the way, and I can look for it if not. And then we'll see you back here at 1:10 Eastern on Sunday over at youtube.com at Casey Green, and it'll be a blast.
Fantastic. And Patrick should be joining us next week. Again, going to be a live stream next week about the Cybertruck delivery event. So we will be a day late. It'll be Thursday. We'll put up the link a little bit early on YouTube, and certainly you can be alerted again on our Twitter feed that you can follow at the Tesla Life, or on our Facebook page, the Tesla Life #1. Yes, June. Happy Thursday to me tomorrow, being in Canada. To everyone else in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your Turkey Day, and enjoy the festivities. Certainly,
We can have ourselves a trucking future free from fossil fuel.
Boom! Got her in for Patrick. So
Yes.
that's very good. Very good. We'd like to thank Lee Moon for the music we use every week. And with that, let's roll the out music. And
Let me see if I can play it from the soundboard still.
okay, we'll try her out. And we will get together in a week and 1 day and find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.
Can you hear it?
It's breaking up.
Not because it's going through my stunner, kills the background noise.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Dana.
but-
Thanks, Nazem. Thanks, the good doctor. And of course, June C. and Derek all joining us in the chat room. JT24, really appreciate it.